Coming up on UCF Nightly News. Students might get a break on their tuition. Find out how this change may affect you.
Plus, 4 UCF students are battling for one crown. We'll tell you how one student is preparing for the competition.
In sports, find out some of the challenges UCF club sports face when looking for funding.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Daniel Bird.
And I'm Holly Stouffer. Today is Friday, January 29th, 2016. Pollo Tropical is now set to become the latest option for on-campus dining. Students voted Pollo Tropical as the restaurant they would most like to see at UCF in a poll last semester. The Board of Trustees approved a 10-year contract yesterday as part of the Aramark agreement. The restaurant will be located in the Rec and Wellness Center. The board did not announce an opening date.
In other board news, the plan for the downtown campus is still in motion. The board set a goal to raise $20 million as part of a fundraising plan. They've reached $9 million so far. The Orlando Magic, CFE Federal Credit Union, Orange County, and Valencia College have all made significant donations to the project.
The UCF Board of Trustees also discussed tuition rates for online classes. Reporter Connell Engelhart tells us what changes were approved for next fall.
All those opposed, like sign.
The UCF Board of Trustees unanimously voted to approve the reduction in tuition for UCF Online. The main idea behind the motion is that students who are taking online courses will not have to pay for on-campus facilities starting in the fall of 2016. Tom Cavanaugh, Associate Vice President of Distributed Learning, led the way in pushing the proposal forward. He says charging online students for services they are not using is unfair.
So if they're not going to access on-campus resources, there's really no reason to charge them the fees associated with that. So that's really where it started, and ultimately it's a way to increase access and lower costs for students.
Before the motion passed, online courses cost students more money than normal classes. Students taking online classes had to pay 5 different fees for on-campus facilities and services that most of them weren't using. The $18 distance course learning fee is what previously made online classes more expensive. Now, an undergraduate student from Florida who is enrolled in online courses will save over $50 per credit hour with the new rule. Out-of-state students in online classes receive the best news because the out-of-state fee was reduced by over $300 per credit hour. Cavanaugh says this will help UCF attract more out-of-state students.
This gets us closer to being sort of have a more of a competitive price point for students who might want to come to UCF but be place-bound in another state.
A student taking a mixture of classes online and in class, like Katrina Poggio, would not benefit from the board's approval. The new UCF online tuition is in effect for students who only are taking online classes. Even though Poggio takes 3 online classes and agrees they should be cheaper, she would rather learn on campus.
I prefer to take classes in a classroom because I just like being around people and learning in that way.
Starting in the fall, students like Poggio might have to make the decision that makes the most sense for them. Reporting in Orlando, Connor Engelhart, UCF Nightly News.
Cavanaugh says he is thrilled with the support from President Hitt and the rest of the board.
Victoria Pisillo is outside the Nicholson School of Communication right now.
How is the weather looking out there, Victoria?
Out there because it is so beautiful outside and you're stuck in the studio. Right now the sun is bright, the sky is blue, and there are no clouds in the sky. Let's look at those current conditions. So right now it's 63 degrees, and which is a little bit chilly, so I would suggest getting a light jacket. The humidity is at 80%, but I have pretty large hair and I've been doing all right, so I wouldn't worry about it. The winds are strong at 9 miles per hour and they're going northwest, so if you didn't think you would need a jacket before, I would definitely say you should go ahead and grab one on your way out. The chance of rain is 0%, which is a huge change from this week, so I would say leave your umbrella at home, give it a break, and go ahead and spend as much time as you can outside. Now, try to stay tuned for today because I'm going to tell you the weekend forecast and also the national weather forecast as well. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about a fast approaching deadline you may not want to miss.
Plus, we'll tell you how donating blood can make a difference here in Central Florida. Edward Locke will join us with one student's personal connection to the cause.
Listen up, Knights. Sunday is the last day of open registration for Obamacare coverage for 2016. Earlier this week, healthcare navigator Ann Packham visited campus. She reminds students to do their research before signing up. Students should also know that they can apply online, by phone, in person, or through paper application. Signing up online can seem like a breeze, but Packham says students should make sure to fill out information carefully. Students can do so on healthcare.gov.
The UCF Board of Trustees meeting addressed the topic of mental health. Board members discussed improving mental health services and programs for the students at UCF. According to UCF's Counseling and Psychological Services, there is an increased need for these services on campus. And the office says this number is expected to grow.
Eating healthy in college is sometimes tough, but UCF is helping students get fruits and vegetables right here on campus. Wellness and Health Promotion Services planted Tower Gardens in the Student Union in August 2015, and they've kept growing since. With produce from the Tower Gardens, the Knights Pantry received over 1,400 pounds of produce, nearly twice as much as the year before. A water tank pumps water up to the top. It trickles down so plants get the nutrients they need. This past week, Taylor Griffey was excited to learn how to grow her own produce.
Oh yeah, I think so. I was surprised by just the amount that it can contain. Definitely the fresh herbs, because herbs are really expensive if you want to get them fresh, and I think having your own and just going out whenever you need it would be really nice.
The UCF Arboretum harvests the produce each week and sends it to Knights Pantry. Tower Garden workshops are held twice a month in the Student Union.
The severe weather in the Northeast has canceled more than 300 blood drives in 20 states. According to the American Red Cross, an emergency has been issued for blood and platelet donors. Here locally, we're also seeing a decline. Edward Locke is in the studio to tell us more about how you can help.
Thanks, Holly. With a decrease in donations over the past few years, the need for blood is greater than ever before. I spoke to UCF students here on campus to find out their reasons for donating blood.
Eva Dohan donated blood for the third time, but it all started before she was born. Her parents met while giving blood.
The same nurse was taking their blood, and she turns to him and goes, "Oh, you guys have the same blood type." And so that kind of started the conversation.
And now, the conversation is about getting more people to donate. At UCF, numbers have steadily declined over the past few years. In 2013, donations totaled 3,350 units, but in 2015, that number dropped to 1,998. One Blood spokesperson, Pat Michaels, attributes that to fewer events and low turnout. He hopes to turn that around and says it's a donation most people can afford.
We're not asking you to open up a checkbook and give money or give items. You're giving a part of you. So if you give blood here, you're likely going to be impacting a patient within a few days.
And UCF students here at Memory Mall are donating here inside the big red bus. They can save lives, and you can too. 1 pint of blood can save 3 lives. Michael says every 2 seconds, someone in the nation needs a blood transfusion. And for the Orlando area, donations from UCF's largest student population are crucial, making it an easy decision for students like Eva.
Half an hour of my time and I can save 3 lives. That's amazing.
Yeah.
In serving on a university blood drive, council email blooddrives@ucf.edu. You can also visit their website for more information and to find out when the next Big Red Bus comes back to campus. I'm Edward Locke. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Edward. Coming up after the break, Victoria Pasillo will have your weather forecast for the weekend.
Plus, find out how one student is making her New Year's resolution a reality.
With graduation around the corner, it's now jobs hunting season for some nights. Career Services hosted the Spring 2016 Career Expo at the CFE Arena this past Wednesday. Over 1,000 students used a new app to navigate the expo. The Career Fair Plus app shows a list of employers and where each company can be found in the arena. Over 2,000 students and alumni showed up with their resumes to discuss job opportunities with the employers. Students also receive free headshots at the event. UCF will host a statewide job fair in May.
Today marked the final day of Social Justice Week at UCF. During the week, the Social Justice Advocacy Department hosted events focused on tough issues. The discussion ranged from LGBTQ boundaries and discrimination to racial oppression and gun control. The slogan for the week encouraged all Knights to raise their voice and take a stand. Social Justice Week is coming to a close with the Tunnel of Oppression event today in the Student Union.
It's the last week of January, which means the first month of 2016 is coming to an end. But what about your New Year's resolution? Has that come to an end? Here's a look at how you might stay motivated.
Every Tuesday, it's a low-intensity, slow-strength cardio workout.
For UCF sports and exercise major Allie Plum, January has been full of ab workouts, stretches, and lunges. Plum decided to start the new year right by jumping into a new workout plan.
I just really want to tone up and improve my health overall and get really fit, and I feel like this is a good way to do it.
According to a 2015 Nielsen survey, 37% of people said their New Year's resolution was to stay fit and healthy. Unfortunately, University of Scranton research says only 8% of people stick with their goals. UCF dietitian Astrid Volpert says there's a lot to do in order to stay fit.
Still watch your portions, add fruits and vegetables, because that's always a problem with most students and most people. But exercise, try to get some activity. Don't think about it as exercise, think about it as activity.
For Plum, activity isn't hard to pick up when she can work out on her own time.
It's like a circuit workout. It's only 28 minutes, which is another thing that's so super great about it, because if you don't have a lot of time in the day, then you can really, squeeze 30 minutes in.
But just because the workout is quick doesn't mean it's easy.
It's difficult. It's like, I'm pretty sure I text my boyfriend after every workout, like, all right, I just died again.
If students are having trouble keeping with their New Year workout resolution, Plum says it's easier than you think.
As long as you stay motivated, and if you get a workout buddy, then it's even easier, and it's actually kind of fun.
If students are having trouble losing weight, staying in shape, or have any dietary questions, Volport says the dietitians at the health center are there to help. However, students must have a referral from a doctor to see a dietitian.
One UCF student is walking down the runway for her New Year's resolution. Not only that, she's raising money and awareness for a good cause.
14 contestants are competing for the Miss Vietnam Florida pageant next week. 4 of them are current UCF students, like Lily Nguyen, who's set to finish her final semester. And she's challenging herself while making her family proud on her way out.
My family actually loves that I'm doing this, and I was actually quite surprised because I thought they wouldn't really like it that much. But actually in the Vietnamese community, pageant is actually a pretty big thing.
Nguyen is fundraising $1,000 for the Catalyst Foundation as part of the pageant process. She says the winner of the pageant does more than raise money for the people of Vietnam.
Being the title of Miss Vietnam Florida 2016, you're the voice of people who can't speak for themselves.
Caroline Nguyen Takaro, founder of the Catalyst Foundation, says money raised by the contestants goes to education, healthcare, and more for the people of Vietnam. She says pageants like these help the Vietnamese community near and far.
I'm really proud of these girls that are part of this program, and I'm proud of the fact that they have gone out of their way to talk about us to the community that have, really don't really know where we're located.
Nguyen says she's learning more about herself, even if she doesn't take the crown.
I think through the process, there has been ups and downs and times when I've had self-doubt, but I think through those moments, I build more confidence in myself.
The pageant is held at noon on Sunday, February 7th at the Central Florida Fairgrounds.
For more information on the Catalyst Foundation, visit catalystfoundation.org.
Victoria is still outside with your weather forecast. How's the weather looking for the weekend?
Hey guys, so it's still sunny right now, but let's look at that national weather. So right now, if you're looking at Florida, there is no rain, nothing really to look for, no cold front, no heavy winds, nothing, so that's really great. There's heavy snow in the north, northwest, and northeast, and there is freezing rain possible in some mid areas. Flash flooding will be in California, so if anybody's traveling over there, try to stay away from that area. And there is, again, nothing to watch for in Florida right now, and it's an amazing way to spend a Friday with bright sunny skies and no rain. Again, let's go through those current conditions one more time. So right now it's 63 degrees still. Like I said, just a little chilly with 80% humidity. The winds are northwest from 9 miles per hour and with a 0% chance of rain. Like I said, try to stay outside as much as possible. Let's look at those Florida highs. So Tallahassee, you have the lowest of the state with 64 degrees, Jacksonville 65. And if you're planning on going to Tampa for Gasparilla today when you're packing those pirate eye patches and those pirate costumes, make sure you also pack a jacket as well because that's 64 degrees. With Orlando and Miami, the highest of the state at 68 degrees. And let's look at those chance of rain for the state. For all around the state, it's 0% chance of rain. So if you were looking for the best time to stay outside, this would be it. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up in sports, find out how the UCF men's basketball team did against Memphis.
Plus, we'll tell you how one student's plan for a social experiment shook up the student union this week.
Hey Knights, I'm Jordan E. Morgan here with your nightly news sports update. We're all set for Super Bowl 50. The Carolina Panthers will face off against the Denver Broncos. Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers cruised past the Arizona Cardinals 49-15 in the NFC Championship on Sunday. In the 17th edition of Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, Manning's Broncos beat Brady's New England Patriots 20-18. The championship game will kick off February 7th at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. A World Cup champion here at UCF is staying a little bit longer. Head coach Tiffany Roberts-Sahadak signed a 2-year contract extension through 2020. She led the Knights to the 2 of the last 3 regular season American Athletic Conference championships. This past season, the Knights reached their 9th consecutive ACC double tournament. UCF men's basketball played against Memphis at home earlier this week. The Knights found themselves in the middle of a high-scoring shootout, but were down by 14 at halftime. UCF turned to junior center Justin McBride. McBride led the Knights with a team-high 20 points, 14 of them coming in the second half. 4 Knights scored in double figures, but despite their second-half push, Memphis was able to hold on. The Tigers drained 12 three-pointers, outlasted the Knights 97-86. The softball team already hit one out of the park. The Knights are ranked as the 17th best team in the nation by the USA Today Top 25 poll. They will face 4 top 10 opponents at home this year. The season opens on February 11th against Liberty at the UCF Knights Invitational. The UCF hockey team is working hard on and off the ice. Earlier this week, we talked to the cool athletes who are competing at the club level.
Skates laced, sticks taped. The UCF ice hockey team hits the ice for practice, and it's barely 7 a.m. With big games coming up against the region's #1 team this weekend, this club team is focused. The Knights practice and play at the RDV Sportsplex, a public rink in Maitland. President of the club, Jacob Sullivan, says scheduling practices can be tricky.
It's just the times when everyone can just get together, really, and it has to match up with the ice time that RDV has as well. So the combination between the two, that's why 7 a.m. is a good time.
But finding ice time is not the only hurdle. Equipment and overall costs are expensive. And even though the Sport Club Council gives each club funds, club teams run on a much tighter budget than varsity sports. President of the Sport Club Council, Dustin Holmes, says the money the school can afford to give club teams barely scratches the surface.
So we run the numbers every year, and the money that we get from SGA only pays for about 20% of what sport clubs actually use.
For the hockey team, that's about $15,000 a year. The other 80% comes from fundraising or the players' own pockets.
We host a golf tournament that's actually this upcoming Sunday. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year.
In Holmes' opinion, the work club players put into their sports is unmatched.
I believe most of these students have more drive for their sport than a lot of collegiate level, just because they have to put their own money, they have to put their own specific time on top of a full school regimen. They don't have special tutors, they don't have any other special amenities for them.
The hockey team takes on FGCU tonight at 10:15 and on Saturday at 4 p.m. Both games are at the RDV Sportsplex, and admission is free for all UCF students. That's all the time we have in sports. Go Knights, charge on. Back to you guys at the desk.
Earlier this week, some students caused a bit of a stir in the student union. Reporter Rachel White is here to tell us what the commotion was all about.
That's right, Daniel. It was certainly an unusual day when I stepped foot in the union earlier this week. Let's take a look.
Stop. Sorry.
Through on their way to classes. Then, at noon, things got a little funky. The Campus Activities Board Comedy Committee hosted an event called the MP3 Experiment.
It's an MP3 that people listen to and they follow instructions like look up at the ceiling or pretend you're getting a shot at or something like that.
Comedy director Chris Mayhew organized the event and some of his committee members participated. Cambrell Jenkins was one member who took part in the theatrics. Jenkins says seeing the reaction of others was very interesting.
People who don't know what we're doing think we're crazy, but other than that, I'm showing some UCF spirit.
The students who took part in the event
Take two.
Close it. The event ended with a special announcement. Bob Saget's coming to campus.
You gotta close it.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
Go, Matt.
Today,